Cal Water Sports, Stephen Cudeno right here with the man, Eddie Herman, looking sharper than your beach gear. You know what I mean? Did you just come off the beach? You smell like the beach.
A bit of sun as well.
A little bit, huh? Man, I thought we might get a little show. I mean, it's been a little, I thought maybe a little something.
You know, with these ceremonial weigh-ins, you kind of lose a little bit of that. Like, you know, when they're both making weight and so now they've had a bit of food, they've gone a bit happy.
Right.
It's just a brilliant fight. You know, I love the fights where people are saying, what do you think? You know, and I don't think anyone can pick with confidence in this fight. You know, you could have your favourite that you might think is going to win, but ultimately it's a 50-50 fight, and that's what we love to see, especially at World Championship level.
Right. I got to ask, what's going on with Subriel? We saw, obviously, you guys, I believe it was a 3-fight deal. The first one was Paro, but I just saw him fight again. So
on defeat, the contract changes. Everybody's contract is different. For him, there was no comeback fight. Obviously, there was a mandatory challenge next, so there was no rematch clause. But he just fought, and we're talking to his team about potentially fighting on March the 8th in our showing back here in Puerto Rico. So very keen to do something with Subriel. I think he's still a dangerous, exciting fighter at 140, and look forward to seeing him back.
That March 8th card, is that the time you're going to try to bring Berlanga over here?
Yeah. Oh, we'll be here tomorrow. We're going to have a meeting with him and Keith Connolly, and March is definitely the time to bring Edgar. We'd love to bring him to Puerto Rico. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and we've got a lot of fighters. When we go to Mexico and we go to Puerto Rico, these guys, they'll take risks. Like, you see a lot of 50-50 fights on this undercard tomorrow because they're, say, grateful, but they're appreciative of the opportunity. They want to roll the dice and become stars. So we love coming here, and it'll be a great atmosphere tomorrow.
You mentioned Mexico. Obviously, we're here in Puerto Rico. Edgar Berlanga, Munguia is like a really good fight. Caleb. Jermal's there. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Those three are the main targets. Like, I think the comeback fight in March will be top 15 guy, and then I think Munguia, Plant, and Charlo are the targets for the summer. Edgar's proved himself against Canelo. I know he got beat, but he's a tough, top level operator at 168. He can be in a lot of fun fights, and looking forward to the future. Did
Canelo mention the other day that he's kind of not thinking about boxing right now? January, he'll kind of start considering stuff. Do you think him and Turkish can, I don't know, rekindle whatever kind of? It seemed a little contentious there for a second.
I mean, I think you're talking about two guys with a lot of power. Two guys that like to do what they want to do. And Canelo's not going to get rushed into anything. His Excellency is a man who wants decisions quick, and that's not really Canelo's style. He's very chilled, he's very relaxed. But I think they'll work well together, and I think for Canelo to be part of Riyadh season would be great for him as well. I know that Saul has always been excited about fighting internationally, and I think before his career ends, he should look to fight in the Middle East, maybe in Japan, like we've seen him in. So I'm sure one day they'll make it happen.
Yeah, man, hopefully. You mentioned yesterday, kind of got a lot of people talking about Shakur and Tank. Tank said he was retiring this year. I've heard people kind of commenting just something's off with Tank, maybe because he was talking about retirement. I don't know. Do you believe that fight we actually gets across the line before he retires?
I think the only fight really at lightweight where it's going to be very competitive, if it looks like Lomachenko's retiring, who knows, but it's Shakur. But you need the hunger to be in those kind of fights. For Shakur's about legacy, right? Of course, he's a young man, he's already made a lot of money, he wants to make money, but his entire heart is filled with the sport, right? And just chasing greatness. So when someone starts talking about retirement, especially at that age, it's almost like a weakness of, like, what does the sport mean to you? And if the sport doesn't mean as much anymore, you become less of a threat. When you've got someone that is just every day chasing to be one of the greatest of all times, they're very dangerous because their desire doesn't leave. It doesn't leave when they get money. It doesn't leave when they've had a couple of good nights. They're the great ones. I'm talking about Canelo. I'm talking about all of these guys that have made millions and millions of dollars and still want to be the best, still want to chase legacy in the sport, and that's Shakur Stevenson. So we're not dictated by other people that might retire. We're just saying that if Gervonta wants to be remembered as a true great, he has to fight people like Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur needs Tank too. We're not saying, we're the A side in that fight. We need him because we want to chase greatness. Shakur wants greatness. He wants to beat all of them. Tank, Haney, Teofimo. And if he does, he'll go down as the greatest of his generation, and that's what matters to Shakur Stevenson. So, look, everyone deserves the right to do their own thing and be happy. And, you know, we hope Tank's happy, and I hope he stays in the game because he's a massive asset to the sport.
Yeah, no, he really is. He's, you know, one of our biggest stars for sure, man. Last one, Oscar De La Hoya. Stop doing the clapback Thursdays. He seemed to be like he got a threat from someone. Was that you? Sent him a dirty DM or something?
I think Oscar's Oscar, and you know, there's a lot of stuff about the Floyd Schofield stuff and stuff like that. I'm really glad that Floyd Schofield made the fight, because at the end of the day, you want young fighters that are chasing greatness, and I think fighters sometimes need to speak up for those opportunities. You know, and I think Oscar, and Golden Boy, they bring fighters through very well. Sometimes don't roll the dice maybe as much as we're criticised for, but there's a fight where, you know, Shakur's coming back from a hand injury, Floyd Schofield's a very good talent, and I'm glad we got that fight on. So more great fights for boxing. We hope that, all being well, we can move into the Zepeda fight with Golden Boy as well. We've also got Madrimov against Ortiz with Golden Boy as well, and watch this space. Hopefully a 5v5. Let's get him in the ring.
I was gonna say we're getting there. I feel like we're warming up.
All we want is the best fights in boxing. Forget the bullshit. We want to make great fights, and there's so many great fights to be made between Matchroom and Golden Boy, Matchroom and PBC. I think you're starting to see a little bit of a coming together of people. Like, you know, TV deals changing, people looking for different opportunities. I think in the past we've all been guilty of like worrying about ourselves and our broadcasters and our, you know, we do this fight, rather than actually saying if we actually all come together, then there's a real opportunity to make great fights. And I think, you know, even like the PBC, Louis DeCubas, these kind of guys, we've got good relationships with them. There's really good fights to be made, and I think over the next year or so, you're going to start to see a lot more people coming together, probably down to His Excellency. And, you know, we hope that everybody enjoys December 21st in Riyadh season, and hopefully you're out there. And February 22nd is probably the best card I've ever seen. But first, roll on tomorrow night.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Eddie.